Welcome, seekers of the unknown, as we pull back the veil between the living and beyond. Unraveling questions that plague our minds, and oftentimes presenting the evidence that may prove them true. Let us take you on a journey where paranormal becomes normal, and where what is right behind you just might be echoes of the afterlife or something more. But fair warning, once you step into the supernatural with us, you might just stay haunted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stay Haunted.
Hello, everybody.
Happy Monday, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy
Monday's over.
That's right.
Happy Monday.
Over. Well, not me.
Welcome, everybody in chat.
Yes, we've had people sitting here waiting for a while.
Very patient.
I wonder why.
Maybe, just maybe, because of the guests.
Could possibly be.
Or is it because of us?
I think it's us.
I think it's us.
I think it's us.
A little bit of both.
It might be. I think it's the guest.
Probably. Dang it.
It's all right.
All the above.
We don't blame them. They're awesome.
Awesome.
Yes, they are.
All right, so let's kick it off. How was your weekend?
We didn't do shit.
Well,
You went to parties, I thought.
it was
Friday, we went to her sister's house for a Halloween party.
Yeah, that was fun.
Right. Happy
And
Halloween to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy belated.
And then we went
Dia
over
de
to her
las
parents' house.
Muertas.
We went to your parents' house after that, right? Friday?
No.
Yes. After?
No.
Yes. We
On
went to
Friday
your
night?
parents' house
Oh, wow.
James going by.
party to finish watching the game. Or no, we came back here.
We haven't been to my parents' house.
We haven't been to her parents' house.
Not
We're at our sister's house.
I think he needs to drink a little bit more.
I- please. I've had this much.
Go by.
Drunk already.
No, and then did what?
The train just go
We
by.
heard the train.
Okay,
Yep.
good. We're not hearing
In
things.
the background distance, but
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You know that pump thing that you got scared on? That thing.
What pump thing?
What did you guys do this weekend?
What did I get scared of?
The air mattress
Oh, I was scared of it.
getting launched.
Oh yeah.
No. When you guys kind of flew over the.
Oh, the
yeah,
train.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
The hill.
train.
I don't know what kinky shit you're talking about.
The air mattress. Oh, it
Air
launched me up the
mattress,
other way,
yeah,
and it was
you
fun
know.
times. Or when Chris
I
jumped.
told you those noises were freaky things.
It wasn't us. It was definitely not us.
We're freaky.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
What did we do? I don't know. We just had Halloween.
We had Halloween on
Friday.
which was Friday.
Probably
It
the
was-
same thing everybody else had.
It was a weird Halloween. It was like at first around 6:00. Usually we get
Oh,
barrages,
you saying hello?
like a lot of kids and stuff.
Lacey says hello.
And we didn't get.
Hi.
It was like weird. It didn't seem like it was like normal, crazy, like kids galore. I don't know if the kids, less kids or more trunk or treating going on, but it was just a different feel. Now we still had over 100 and between candy bars and bags, we had like 150, maybe 200 total pieces.
Wow.
All but 4 went. So between 6 and 8 o'clock, by the time 8 o'clock rolled around, we were pretty much done. So,
And our kids weren't here.
and our kids weren't here. Yeah.
So they were partying up in Tallahassee.
Yeah. They were at Florida State for Halloween, living the college life with their cousin Jake, who had his birthday.
And Sophie.
Happy
And
birthday, Jake.
Yeah, that's
Thank
cool.
you.
They all went.
Yeah. They all had a
went.
good
They
time.
had a good time.
They had a little rough takeoff on
Friday.
Friday,
No,
or not
Thursday.
Thursday when they
Thursday
left
night.
out because they left with the storm and stuff. So it was a little
Thursday day.
rough taking off. So, and then Saturday and Sunday we did absolutely
Nothing.
nothing. We relaxed.
Nice. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Come on.
we
We
would
did run
keep
around
them.
on Saturday, did some errands and ate and watched the game till freaking 12:30 and then
I don't want to be late.
Done.
Yeah, Chris and I were commiserating on with the Toronto and the World Series game.
yeah.
I'm going to go on record saying he was safe at home. Smith pulled his foot and didn't get it back in time, but that's all I'm
I hear
saying.
you. I hear you.
All I'm
I hear
saying.
you. So
All right, guys.
it was a great weekend.
Yeah, it's a good weekend. You know what's better than that weekend?
Tonight.
The people we have on the show tonight. Guys, Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez of TDSE, the Digital Séance Experience and Metaphysical Idealists. Ron and Lourdes bring to the enthused public a most unique method of spirit communication, now widely known as the Digital Experience. It employs the use of analog white noise generators, which are filtered and slowed down to enable vocal anomalies. I'm reading faster than my brain's working. To audibly emerge from a speaker. It's a closed circuit system with no opportunity to receive any RF signal, no mic input. Yet, despite white noise possessing no data, clear voices that have timing and relevance have often been heard. Ron is a 6-time author, an SBR member of Chief Communications Officer for the IDC Institute. He brings a unique blend of academic insight and a satirist critical eye to afterlife research. Lourdes, the research activist and records manager for the IDC Institute, is also a licensed New York State Corp reporter, a vocational avenue that has made her ability to detect anomalous voices early, accurate, and highly effective. She is truly a voice phenomenon authority. Ron and Lourdes proudly champion the metaphysical idealist view that reality is fundamentally mental, allowing for coherent, goddamn you, Ron, with all these big words, coherent understanding of supernatural experiences, natural phenomenon, nature doing what it does, thereby resolving conflicts with scientific frameworks and dissolving axiomatic beliefs that have persisted in the paranormal field far too long.
No
Say that
more
back
than
on.
syllables from now
Yeah, I'm not
on.
reading that again, y'all.
Syllables.
I'm
all
not reading
you
that
get.
again. You know what the best part about Ron Yacovetti and Lourdes Gonzalez is they are family
Yes,
to all
they
four of
are.
us. Everybody, we
Very
love
true.
you. These are the best people on the planet. Say hello to Ron and Lourdes.
Yay.
Oh, you guys are family. Yeah.
9.5. That's good.
That's pretty good.
Hey, there's a little bit of room. We can get there to 10. We can get to the 10.
I just have to say, you said you're putting us in the green room, but it looks like you guys are in the green room.
Yeah.
We are.
Same thing.
Yeah, man.
True.
Thank you, guys. That was great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks very
I
much.
would have read the whole thing, but I didn't want to get that tongue twisted on Ron's big words that he puts in everything.
Oh, that was good.
It's so funny. Like we send the bios in for shows like you're supposed to, and it's so stupid of me because I'm always surprised when somebody reads it. I'm like, I figured it's just talking points, like stuff you could say, but everybody always takes the extra step and shows the respect and reads it. And I'm always like, I'm not even interested in me. I don't know. But thank you. Raul was telling you right before that I saw in the comments to mention Thursday.
I was just getting ready to mention that. I was going to let you talk about
Mention that.
Thursday.
Use.
Use.
The two youths.
First and foremost, thanks for having us. We were looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Like, with
Nice.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's like you said, we're family, so we're like happy. Yay.
Yeah.
On a
If
Monday
you get a
night.
close look at everybody on the screen, for those watching, everybody here represented on camera right now would be considered for Chris and Audra a tax write-off, as we have all taken up staying in their homes.
Yes.
Last weekend, you guys were how many? 3
Couple
weeks
weekends
ago?
before us.
Or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
No, it was a couple months back, not
Yeah.
that long ago.
A couple months.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
let me
what
tell you the difference. The difference was 96 degrees to 36 degrees. That's what the difference was.
Yeah.
It was nice and comfortable for us.
Yeah.
Audra and I had the heated flashlight and we were hiding in the car. But we were very comfortable.
No. And as you would expect, Chris and Audra, above and beyond, it's like They wait on you hand and foot. Everything you need. It was so fun. It definitely felt like staying at home with family. That was super cool.
It felt like staying in with family in an Airbnb.
True.
Anytime, you all are always welcome back.
I forgot floss. Audra's like, open the door. I have everything for you. And she had everything that we could possibly need in those rooms.
Yeah.
And it's it's like an Airbnb.
Yeah.
It is, absolutely.
I love it.
We gotta ask, was the refrigerator with all the drinks there in the little hallway at the top already for you guys also?
She sure did have that there, yeah.
All right. Little snacks, a little coffee maker, little tea kettle.
Yeah. So for everybody that wants to know what the hell they're talking about, so between my office, we're on the second floor right now. My office is on this side, on the east side of the house. The guest room is on the west side of the house,
Closest to the bathroom.
Closest to the bathroom,
And I don't like that
right?
bathroom.
Ergonomically, logistically located. And in between, there's this big landing. Well, we put a fridge there that has sodas, water, Gatorade, and then Audra put a little snack stand on top that has chips, cookies.
Yeah.
And then on top of next to it, there's a tea kettle, there's coffee, there's different types of teas. You can use the water from the fridge. You can heat up your tea.
No, there's actually water, like a jug of water.
Oh,
Yeah.
For the,
Right.
yes, specifically.
For us.
But the thing is that they do make you feel like family, like their home is beautiful and they both are kind and they just treat you, and we thank you.
Until you get scared.
Oh, did you hear? I don't know. Did we tell you?
I didn't hear that story.
Until someone jumps out of the bathroom and scares the crap.
So let me tell the
the
story.
bathroom before.
Let me tell the story because I got Todd in trouble.
Right.
So Todd and I were up in the office reviewing some EVPs and pictures from the two little investigations that we had done that day. And on our way back from those investigations, Carmela was telling all of us about how her sons jump scare her all the time.
Yes.
So Carmela was in their room. We were over here in the office, and we came out before she did. She went into the bathroom and then went back into the room. I snuck into the bathroom, and I looked at Todd and went, and he should have known better, but he
He
didn't.
should have known better because he ran down those steps.
He calls her out of the
Like,
room.
oh, hey, come here.
And let alone on our anniversary also.
That's the worst part. I had a
She
brain
stepped
fart.
out. Chris went, "Gah!"
And I
The
didn't
best
scream,
part
so it
was-
safe.
No scream, no jump, no. She just went. That was it.
And I see Todd run for his life down the steps.
I couldn't get down the steps fast enough, and dummy me, it was on our anniversary.
our
Like
anniversary.
dumbass me, like
And
like
I
I'm
kept
like,
saying to him, I'm like,
what the
are
hell
you
am I
staring
doing? It's
at
our
me?
anniversary.
Why are you staring at me? What's going on? He's like, come out. I'm like, no. He's like, come out. I'm like, no, you look weird.
At that point, I was like a deer in headlights. I didn't know what to do. I was just like,
Come out.
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah,
funny.
I'll be paying for that for years to come.
You will.
Him. Over there. Chris, I can't show you.
Yeah, I didn't do that to Lourdes because Ron would have narked me off, and Lourdes would have kicked my ass. I knew I could take a hit from Carmela, no matter how hard she hit. I could take it and still run. Lourdes,
I don't know about that. I can hit you in one area. to bring you to your knees. I tell my kids that all the time. I'll take you down. I'm not afraid. One
That's-
area.
Yeah, because that's not in your home. I would never disrespect you in your own home. So don't do that in my house.
I would do it.
not your home in my house. I whoop your ass.
I would do it. They
Yeah.
both ran actually pretty quickly down the steps.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I left Chris in the dust. I didn't know what he was doing. He probably ran back into the office or something.
Chris, the best part is we get downstairs and he gets in trouble.
Yeah.
Chris, you might have tried
It
it.
was my fault. I set her up. So
You might have tried it with us there if you had known how easy it is. Sometimes
it's
she just
easy.
walks out of a room
Mhm.
and sees me there, and she's like, I live here. Remember?
Yeah. I may hit you by accident, but I wouldn't hit you on purpose in your own home. So let me rephrase that.
I'll be here tomorrow. Still gets
I'm the guy that lays next to you when you wake up.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, enough about us.
Yeah.
So do we want to give a quick
All about
synopsis of Thursday of your
What
event at
happened
Thursday?
on Thursday?
Yeah,
'Cause that was a great event.
Thursday was fun. So we have, as has repeatedly been the case, for which we're grateful, been blessed with another opportunity to do a lot of the promotional. There's going to be online events promoted through Eventbrite, as well as some of the in-person events with Christopher de Cesare, aka the Ghost Boy of Geneseo,
AKA the Ghost Boy of
Erie Hall.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a Netflix docuseries, 5 episodes. 2 of them are about a house in Salt Lake City. The first 3 episodes are called True Hunting Erie Hall. James Wan was the director for this, I believe, or producer director. He did The Conjuring, Aquaman, Insidious. He's done a bunch of films like that. And so 3 episodes were on Chris's haunting story from back in 1984, mostly 85, when he was going to SUNY Geneseo up in upstate New York. And so with the launch of that, he knew he would be back on the speaking circuit again doing events. And so he asked us to come on and do a talk fused with what we do and what he does, so that he can tell the experience as it happened, accounts of what happened, and then we can give the metaphysical, philosophical framework for how those types of things can happen, which adds an extra layer to them, not just recounting the experiences in story form, but also with now support for why these things or how these things can happen. Thursday was the kickoff to us doing stuff together, which was the Liberty Science Center, which is the largest planetarium, I believe, on the East Coast, if not, I think, the country. And we did a talk in the huge theater, the 3D Science Theater, where the screen is like, it's like standing in front of a movie screen on the floor. Yeah. It's the best presentation environment ever. You never get that anywhere else. So we did the talk with Chris, and it was a lot of fun. They have a big Halloween thing every year. We've been doing it there since 2018. With obviously 2020, nothing happened. And then the weekend we went up to
wait, but before you move on.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And we want to thank the people that came out, right? Carmela, Todd, Raul, who came out?
Frankie.
Yeah.
Right? I hope I'm not missing anyone. Well, Chris de Cesare, of course, right?
And Bill Edwards.
And Bill Edwards, which is the behind the scene guy that helps out. So thank you guys, because we really do appreciate it. And anybody else who came out there may be watching, thank you, because we love what we do, and we're happy when you're there. So moving on, what's next?
Now, one quick thing about that big screen. I'm surprised Ron hasn't tried to make like a home session there of running the TDSE.
I know that will be awesome.
Because when he goes to the Shanley
it's working.
is big, and then that's like next level big.
Yeah, it's awesome. I wish everywhere we spoke had a screen like that, a big movie screen. But it was great, and that was the second time we got to talk there with Chris. Came with us in 2022, but now with the Netflix series, it was like and us being on the promotional tour for him doing this. Then we drove up Friday actually to Geneseo, upstate New York, and we did the kickoff event. They did a watch party at the school for students and people nearby who wanted to come watch all 3 episodes. When they're like 25 minutes each, it wasn't that long, and then did a live Q&A. They had 4 of the what they call survivors of the haunting, and it got deep. He was not somebody who was ghost hunting. He didn't ask for this stuff. He did this at a time when it was not even cool or trendy to do, and didn't ask for it. And it threw his life off track entirely and reframed his future. So him and then 3 of his friends who were part of this haunting, they went through a lot. There were 2 deaths associated with it that he had the names and the circumstances left out. He'd asked Netflix to not include those, to not cause pain and suffering to families and people who were still alive. So even that, it goes deeper than that, but it was very traumatic for him
and his friends. And the thing is, it's amazing. Like, you can see the friendship, right? And the amazing part of it too is that the night before, Chris had arranged to go to the college and meet with some students. They were researching the case, right? The what had happened there, because they heard stories before this all came out with Netflix, right? So now they've been doing that for months. Now all of a sudden this comes up and they're like, oh my God. So they reach out. And Chris, because he's so sweet and kind, he arranges to meet the students. And then we go there the night before the Q&A.
In Erie Hall.
Yep. And he sits there with the students, and his friend Jeff, who is the best friend that you see in the thing, is there. And you hear them talking to these kids, because they're kids, right?
Yeah.
And giving them good advice through their life experiences, through being teachers and what they do as a living. But on top of that, what happened to them in this traumatic experience that they had in this, because it all ties in together. And it's just a beautiful thing to, and these kids are bright, and you hear, and the exchange of that, it's just, it's beautiful to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then just that friendship that they build from that it's amazing how strong that they got something. It's unfortunate they went through something so rough and so traumatic, but the bond that they build as friendship is priceless. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Another little synchronicity going back to the Thursday to the Liberty Science. There was an attendee, a girl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a student there, and she was just there, I think, by dumb luck, right? I think it was.
Yeah, I don't think she knew.
She didn't
Well,
even
maybe
know
she
that
did
it was
or didn't,
going on.
I
I
don't
don't believe.
I don't remember if she saw it or not, to be honest, but it could have been dumb luck.
Yeah.
I don't really remember that.
She said
story.
she had been in the room, though. She had been in the dorm in the room.
Yes, but
Yeah.
what happened was she had approached me and asking me about it, not realizing that I was part of, we were doing this.
Right,
She
right.
thought I happened to be working at Liberty Science Center because we have a table and I'm walking around. So when she saw what it was, she's like, when I approached you, I didn't even know that you were part of the, but it could have been dumb luck if she happened to just be there. Yes. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, that was cool. And he spoke to her too, and it was nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So tell everybody about TDSE.
Once upon a time.
I know, right?
I looked at the comments. So Chris is a wonderful. Yeah, Chris DeCesare is one of the kindest people on the planet, bar none. Yeah, he's just amazing. So, the Digital Séance Experience. Yep. Jenny Amondo. That's true. Yeah, and there's a lot he doesn't let on. Like, he doesn't tell everybody every little thing involved in what happened and certain things that he was affected by. A lot happened.
Because again, unlike us, we're investigators, and he's not. He was a survivor, like he says, and it really is kind of hard, to talk about it sometimes. So certain things he just leaves out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And interesting too from the docuseries, because of all the stuff between the Conjuring movies and then all the hoopla with the Conjuring house, that he had met the Warrens when they spoke at the school. And as not that this is not a spoiler alert thing, but it's something that's in one of the episodes. When he met them, Lorraine Warren would not shake his hand. And she refused to. And in the docuseries, they just said, she said, no, I won't shake her hand. And then Ed had to move off stage. But in real life, she said, I don't want to see my future.
Mm-hmm.
And they had him, and Ed threw him off stage. And he thought they didn't like him until he ran into Judy years later, I guess. And she said, oh, my mom loves you. Oh, and he goes, no, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
And then he found out what it was, is his aura and everything. There was so much going on with him. She was blocked and she couldn't read. And she was seeing things, I guess, whatever from it. And so she's like, no, get him out. I can't.
And then look at it from his perspective, because this is something that he talks about in public. So as a kid, right, starting college, and he was embarrassed. You know how embarrassing that is? He's shaking, and he threw him out of the stage.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as nice as he threw him out of the stage. And it's not bad or good. He was protecting his wife or whatever, whatever he was doing, and no bad or good there. But for Chris and his perspective, he was embarrassed. It's kind of traumatic. Yeah. And then he still doesn't know what's going on, really, right?
No.
Yeah.
So not to sidestep the question for too long. So the Digital Séance Experience, Lourdes and I started doing direct radio voice in 2019, which is just using a vacant short, long, medium wave radio station. No sweeping, no spring reverb, no plasma discs and lights. It was just white noise. We record it and review it and record it and review it. And we started hearing things in real time. And we have recordings with voices in real time just at that stage. It was truly unique. At the time, nobody in the landscape in the paranormal community, at least in the United States, under the umbrella of ghost hunters, was doing anything except sweeping ghost box modalities. So in that aspect, I would comfortably say for she and I that in an era, let's say, akin to rock music, where Queen set out in the 70s and 80s, and now today there's cover bands doing really, like jobs of replicating the songs and the sound. We're not the cover band, but we started the trend in 2019, and then over several years developing it and working through different stages of it. It's using pure analog white noise with generators that go through an interface, and then we filter and slow it down in real time. The specifics of the software component can change from time to time. We try to hone in on what seems to be most consistent. There's no radio reception. There's no microphone. It's a closed circuit system as far as classic physics is concerned, right? And then about the white noise.
There's no data in white noise. I'm sorry, I had a mint in my mouth.
Oh.
There's no data in white noise, yeah.
So, and then filtered, slowed down. And then from that, no data, no word banks, no sounds, white noise, if anything comes through, voices are emergent. For the longest time, we were operating under the idea of resonance or stochastic, inverse stochastic resonance is how the voices were coming through, given the idea that if a frequency matches any one of the frequencies in the white noise, right, which is 20 hertz to 20,000, everything we can hear as people, you get resonance. One frequency matches one in the white noise, you get amplitude and you get resonance, gets louder. But after a conversation that I had about a couple of different things with Dr. Bernardo Kastrup in one of the meetings we do, I'm part of an ambassadorship that meets weekly with Bernardo Kastrup, holds 2 PhDs. That's where we started learning analytic idealism, metaphysical philosophy. And from one of the conversations, I realized that actually was not coherent, because in order for the stochastic resonance to happen, both signals, the white noise and anything within it, and then the introduced into the white noise signal have to be both detectable physical signals, measurable detectable physical signals. But the voices, and from where they're emerging, are not. If they were, we wouldn't need the white noise to make them audible. So there was something wrong with that theory. So what we think is this is more of an intermodulation, where the white noise works almost as a canvas. It takes a non-physical signal, which would be akin to how when before we make physical signals and speak, we think first, all right? What starts as mentation or thought turns into an audible physical signal that your ears can pick up. So if you look at that modality, then you're looking at the same thing, right? If we think reality is fundamentally mental or made up of a universal consciousness, then from that, communication would be conceptual first, and then it would become audible through the white noise, again, like as a springboard or a canvas for it, intermodulating. The same way if you wanted to listen to VLF, very low frequency, which is below, bless you, below long wave, right? To listen to frequencies below long wave, but you have a shortwave radio that doesn't receive it. If you got a VLF converter, it would bump up, let's say 50 hertz or kilohertz, and it would bump it up so that you could listen to it at 1450 kilohertz. So you're listening to it through a shortwave frequency, but you're receiving it somewhere else. So you're intermodulating it. We think that's the way the white noise functions, because in that sense, under a metaphysical philosophy like idealism, you can have a non-physical, non-measurable signal interact with the white noise and intermodulate, but it can't be stochastic resonance because it would have to be two physical signals that are detectable.
So under physicalism, it doesn't work. And most people work under physicalism, but under analytic idealism, it works. You know, and it just makes sense with what we're trying to see what's going on, these experiences that are happening that we all experience, you guys experience, right?
Right.
Yep. It'll work.
Experiences through TDSE.
Would you like to show the audience an example?
Have we examples?
You have examples. You gave me.
You be?
Of course you do.
Which one would you like to see first?
I mean, if you want to, because I didn't know how much you would want to show. But if you want to show,
I want to show them all.
So then show the second two first. The third one's the longer one, let's say, and that would be maybe one we can do a brief setup just to explain. The other two are not old, but they're classics. They're two of the ones that we're pretty proud of.
So let's show Bad Connection first because it has the modulation too on top of the words. So.
Yeah, and the setup for this one is basically that before I got the new computer, the other one was out-resourced. It ran out of resources for how intricate the process and the method became. And that specific day before I replaced the computer, I freed up some resources, and it was skipping and buffering like bop, 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 bop. It would drive me crazy. Fixed it temporarily, started recording again, and then I asked specifically what happened. You'll hear me say, what happened here? And then the voice responds and describes the problem precisely.
All right, here we go.
What happened here? What happened to us? Sorry about that.
It's so crazy.
It's so nuts.
It really is. It's when you really think about it. It's like, hey, you got a bad connection.
Oh,
No.
And I heard it.
sentence is crazy.
I heard it. I apologized for it because I heard it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what's insane about it is it's not a review. It's real-time communication, and it's not like an SB7 where you're getting little spotty words here and there that could be construed as, receiving something, picking up something because the sweep's not fast enough or anything like that. This is, you're not receiving anything, right? It's just generated through white noise.
There's no data.
It has no data, right? And it's slowed down so you could hear what they're saying in real time. It's a full fucking sentence, y'all. When was the last time you got an EVP that was a full sentence on a digital recorder?
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
tricky, and we like to be fully honest. I mean, we've gotten stuff like that more than once, but even when we get really good stuff, sometimes it's not always that good.
Right.
And honestly, a couple of the best ones we've ever recorded were during moments when there were technical problems, when the computer was not working right or something was out of tune. And I was trying to figure out, I was getting a loop somewhere. I'm trying to fix it. And then a vocal comes through that is abundantly clear. It's happened at least 2 or 3 times. That was one of them right after I had fixed it. But
It may appear that we get stuff like that all the time because if you go on our websites or whatever, we have a lot of stuff. But that's because we've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? And there's
Right.
years of work in there.
yeah, it's part of the highlight reel.
Yeah.
And we don't try to hide that and say this happens every day. We get voices consistently.
Yes.
And if you tune in and you're part of the process, you can hear them. But that level, when it's like smacking you in the face with this is not
Right.
supposed to be happening, that's exceptional.
Well, anybody that's attended one of your live sessions, I mean, you might not get, this might be a highlight reel portion of it, right? But even during your live sessions, you're getting audible words in
Right.
real time. It's not recording it. You're not hearing it. It's not audible. And we're viewing it later and going, oh shit, look what we found in EVP. This is live stuff that you're hearing, direct, intelligent responses to questions in real time.
Right.
Through
And
noise.
right. And there's a mindset that says that if you're getting these things too consistently, then it's not legit or valid, or it's got to be some kind of misconception, or it's fallible hearing or something, because it shouldn't be that consistent. But the thing is, if it's normal, if these voices and things are around us, but because it's not salient to survival, we're not picking them up, then once you're able to do something methodologically that allows you to hear them, it's no longer some kind of a superb, unique thing that you're hearing them, right? That's that adage that says extraordinary circumstances require extraordinary proof or evidence. That is only true if, by being termed extraordinary is done so because it exists outside of an ideology, outside of a belief system that says it's real and can happen. If it's that scenario, and only in that scenario does it need a really superb explanation that's extraordinary, because it's outside of what you're told is true or can be true. But if reality is mental, and if this stuff is all around us as we experience, then it doesn't need an extraordinary circumstance to be extraordinarily explained. All it needs to be is theoretically coherent. It needs to make sense, and it does.
It's like in the News 12. I don't know. We were in the News 12, and at the end they had the skeptics, and one of them, because he was talking about
That's
normal,
what they were.
yeah, and so one of them goes,
Ding.
and this is not for what, because she didn't say it for us necessarily,
No.
did she? But she said, but what about all the other times when you didn't get anything? You only focus on those times when you did. Well, hello. If it happened all the time, then maybe there's something up. There's something up with
Right.
that. That's the point. You have to focus on the ones that did come up and timing and relevance. And then you make a discretion, right? You make a discretion, you use discretion. That's the point, like, miss. Like, I want to be good. You know?
And just to quickly insert, and then just to add on to that, Lourdes. So I think what would have been really cool is if they had him, like if they had you do the review with you guys there, because then you could have been like, hey, white noise, there shouldn't even be anything coming through. There shouldn't be words, no nothing to begin with.
That's why they didn't touch on that.
But that's the thing. We did, but they didn't put it on there, and not knowing that there was going to be skeptics. But remember when they interviewed us, Ron and I, Ron does his part, I do my part. We touched on every point that they said, but they left it there in the skeptic. But they have that, and you should probably remind, because so it's every point that they have, we already debunked it in the part that they didn't show that they taped us.
Yeah, we provided explanations. So they picked on things that were not the things you would normally go after, because we had already disqualified those. Right. But they were like, if you got skeptics off Wish or Temu, like that's what they were. It was
because then the last thing he did was he questioned her integrity, because she goes, I heard it, and he goes, did you? That's what he did to her.
Did you?
That's horrible to do.
So that's his skeptical argument.
So
that was his skeptical argument, was trying to pull some kind of a Jedi mind trick, or or make her self-doubt.
He's
like
not the droid you're looking for.
Yeah, I was like, come on. They didn't have us in the same room with those people, because that conversation would have ended in tears in 5 minutes, and it wouldn't have been us.
Right.
And when we saw you, I think when we saw you on Thursday night, and we talked about it, and we expressed how it was a really great segment and stuff. And then the ending with those debunkers, But if you watched all between, because it was not only you guys, it was Full Moon, good friends of ours, 9 Lives, Rich Michelle. They all at the end they had a very similar theme in their responses to all the different things.
It was almost what is it?
Cookie cutter, right?
Thank you.
If you're primed to hear and see something, you're going to see and hear it. Really? I'm primed to see Kim Kardashian walk through the front door in 10 minutes half naked. It's not happening.
Wow.
Explain that, skeptic. It's ridiculous. It was generic stuff. They're on camera. They had to say something. But I would have paid money to be in the room with them, to have them explain their ideas more thoroughly, because I would have decimated them. I really would have. It would have been horrible. But
no, it would have been good. It would have been fun.
And it would have been. I mean, it would have been a good conversation. I think.
I would pay to see that conversation.
Yeah, it would have been. That could have been like a pay-per-view kind of event.
That's funny.
That's better than reality TV, right there.
Right.
No doubt. So real fast,
It's our reality.
Real fast, I saw Mary Beth had a question about. Here it is. I think it is. Ron, do you think you could adapt it to work for nonverbal autistic people?
This is a telepathy tapes influenced question, which I'm actually going to start looking into, because a couple of my friends from the Idealism group have made reference to it, and it had drawn my attention to that. That might be something I would want to watch. Could it be made for non-verbal autistic people?
I don't think so.
What we do?
What do you think?
Well, so
Go ahead.
I'll answer that in 2 parts. For one, the interactivity of it is, as for the experiencer, if the person who's autistic, which I'm assuming we're talking about as the experiencer, right? as long as they're able to hear and they are familiar with a language or language, and I would think that part of it would be easily handled. The second part of it is where a lot of times we'll ask questions and the answers come out before we finish or right after we finish a question, and that we believe that the communication is not sound traveling from a classical physics sound wave propagating, but rather from telepathy, from mind to mind, whereas from our mind through being porous or open with the transpersonal space, which is, we believe, reality being conscious. So we're communicating essentially mind to mind. So I would think as long as conceptualization, as long as cognition is functional in the person, if they're not verbal, they would still be able to perhaps conceive a question and then be able to hear a response. Again, we're talking about our system, which produces audible words.
But I have an opinion on that. So, okay, when you talk about non-autistic people,
Not non-autistic, autistic.
Non-verbal. That's what I meant to say. Non-verbal autistic people. Okay. So in my opinion, if they're not able to express that tool, they're okay, because aren't they like considered to be closer to what people call the veil and things like that? So they're already having these thoughts, right? They seem to be more what we describe as porous, right?
Mhm.
Now you add another variable that are words that we ourselves now have. We hear them and we got to find timing and relevance. We put all this thought, but a non-verbal autistic mind, that may be too much for them because there's no way for them to express what's going on. And it can make them, go insane or be crazy or whatever it may do. I don't think it's a good idea in that way. But and can it work? Yeah, sure. Is it good idea? I personally don't think so when it comes to the mind and health.
Right. So
that's what I'm coming from.
In principle, based on how our system works, yes.
Yeah.
It absolutely would work. Again, based on the fact that even before we speak, we conceive first or think. So I think that now what Lourdes is referring to with being overwhelming, being almost like a state of high level entropy where it's too much chaos coming in, too much disorder. We're talking about our system. If they listen to it for like 12 hours or more in a row and it was chatter that just kept talking, then I would see that also. But in the way that it typically runs, where it's quiet and you may hear something talk, you may hear a phrase or a sentence or something, but it's not like being on a crowded bus with people talking on their phones and everything all loud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that same hurdle of difficulty that she was talking about, it being overwhelming, unless they're listening to it for extended hours with a lot of chatter.
Non-verbal autistic. Listen, I know my daughter's autistic.
Right, but nonverbal means what? That they're not able to speak?
Right, and so that's a missing tool that they're not expressing. That may be too much information. It's too much information, and now they can't express it. That can cause someone to go insane. That's what I'm saying, baby.
Right. No,
and the question, what was the question?
I agree, but I think it would have to
work for nonverbal.
Yeah. Now,
I somewhat agree with Lourdes because it's very similar to the receptors. How do they receive information coming in, right? Like it depends on the autistic person. Like some of them, a loud noise causes them to freak out. Too much noise causes them to freak out. Very similar to why I can't be near the equipment. Not that I'm artistic, I'm not saying that, but very similar to where I can't be because I pick up high energy, right? So very similar how I have to stand at the back of the room for me to be able to stay in the room. If I were to sit right next to Ron and Lourdes' equipment, I can't stay in the room. I have to extend myself out. So where an autistic person, depending on their receptors and how they receive information or signals, it might give the reaction that Lourdes is saying, or it might give the reaction that Ron is speaking to.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of nuanced assumptions built into these explanations that we're giving based on very specific terms, right? Like for you and your sensitivity, if there's something about the noise or the vibration that's consistent enough, but if it's dead silent and it says the number 8 because you write it down and then it reads the
Right.
number 8 and then it's quiet for another 10 minutes. I would think that in all those cases, it would not be overwhelming or too much to be near it, unless there's something that it's giving off that's really bothering you. And again, going off of the idea of nonverbal, I would think that that just means the capability of speaking isn't there, and that too much information would be a lot. But if they used it, again, the question was, would this system work for non-autistic,
Right.
you'd be saying it now, non-verbal autistic people? I would say, yeah, in principle, they could put it on for 10 minutes. They could write things down or think of things, and then responses could come out. Would that be too much for them?
Maybe.
Based on their sensitivity level over an extended period of time, perhaps. But just to do it, no, I wouldn't think so. But it would work. I would think it would work.
Real fast. So I saw Mary Beth mention something about pictures, and it made me think about Heath Clark's, his paranormal. He does use about pictures. They do use its Perlin noise on YouTube, which does incorporate visuals. So maybe if using that some type of visual, maybe be able to, I don't know if that would.
What do you like nonverbal?
Yeah, for the nonverbal, but now adding, instead of just listening, now if it's more visual, then maybe those pictures
Incorporating it, yeah.
Right. So
maybe be able to help.
One assumption built into that too, just to kind of, and not to nitpick, but the thing is, when we try to explain these things, so he does the Perlin noise with the faces and sound. If it's paired up with audio phenomenon in response in a dialogue, this ease of use based on that assumes that the face or the visual aspect of it is in sync and is causally responsible for both what you see and what you hear. If what you see is not causally related to what you hear,
right,
then I don't know if it helps at all, because it's like if I saw Chris's face only, but I heard your voice and you were talking, and his mouth isn't even moving in sync or at all, right? Then that wouldn't really help me to see a face, because it's not part of what
You just gave me a good idea for experiment. We'll talk later.
I've got an idea about an experiment too.
You did too, Chris. No,
I was thinking, referring back to Mary Beth's autistic, I would be really interested to talk about connected consciousness, right? I would be really interested to see if you took a nonverbal autistic person and put them in a separate room, and you had TDSE running in another room, and you showed that person picture or asked them questions they can't verbally answer. But I wonder if you would get voices connected through TDSE with responses to what was going on in the other room. That would be an interesting concept.
That would be interesting.
I would say again that in principle that can work, because when we talk about separating people in rooms, right, then we're putting arbitrary boundaries that aren't fundamental to reality, but they are to our sensory experience, right? So I could still see that working as well. And it does sound telepathy tapes related, which I know I have to get around to watching those.
And Mary Beth, there's no reason to be sorry. I mean, it's an interesting conversation. I mean, that's what.
We're not arguing. We disagree.
It's just having a conversation to see what the potential, if it could be applied to that situation.
We debate and argue ideas and principles, even in idealism, a lot. But the thing is that, and sometimes it gets heated. But when we get to the other side, we have a better common understanding with how we think we would look at something or explain it or address it. So I think that's
healthy.
It's healthy. Yeah. If she just repeated me or I just repeated her, we wouldn't have the strength in numbers that two of us doing this stuff.
Right.
And I want to address Mary Beth. I want to address this. And then I want to address this.
Oh, okay.
The reason I want to address this
is
because that's what Stay Haunted is all about, right? And that's what the 6 people that you see in front of you, it's questions like that incite critical thinking, that help promote research in the paranormal field. Don't ever apologize for asking a question that causes us to talk about it for 10 minutes. Because that is a good question if it causes the dialogue to last this long. So don't ever apologize for a question like that. Not at all.
That was good.
Yeah, no, that was good. These conversations are good. This is part of what we were complaining about with the so-called skeptics at the end of the News 12 episodes, right? Because they were just garden variety people who like joined like a book club or something, and now they're on a news show commenting. Most skeptics have a much more, if they're legit, have a much more in-depth theoretical deep dive into trying to like piece things apart. And a lot of them have a very similar two-pronged approach that they'll use. And this is funny because the gentleman named Matt Colburn's book called What Lies Beyond, and I loved how he put down that they have a two-pronged approach. Most skeptics will have an informed critique, which is a constructive criticism that is what you would call essential for science, right? To have an informed critique. And then they do boundary work. And the boundary work is then they start telling you now how these are the laws of classic physics and this are the rules of the game. And what you're doing is outside of that. Therefore, it's not true, discredited, devalued, not good. You're out of your mind. You're crazy. You're hearing what you want to hear. So it's a two-pronged. It's a criticism, like an informed critique. And then the boundary work is where it gets slammed home. These people on those shows didn't do any of that.
Yeah,
they didn't do any of that.
Yeah, it was bad. And that's why they do have debunking channels now, because that kind of skepticism and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
Mess.
Oh, mess.
Questions incite critical thinking incites learning, incites thought, moves the world forward, right? If we didn't critically think and we didn't ask questions, we'd all be stuck back in the dark ages, and some guy would be telling us the sky is purple and we'd believe him, and it's the second reckoning of the coming of God, right? No. Don't ever apologize for asking a question that gets this much dialogue going. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
We should really, because you want to promote Beardo, because I kind of want to promote him. Do you guys watch Beardo?
Beardo gets scared.
Beardo, yeah, I've watched him occasionally. I've watched him.
He's very good.
I'm starting to like him a lot because he believes, but he is a skeptic, which is us. I say we all are actually, right? We don't believe everything. We just do what we got to do and just make sure that there's not other things going on. But you go with your feeling, right? You use discretion. And he is very good at I've never seen him. I don't disagree when he's debunking somebody. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean,
because there's so much mess out there.
That's what he's going after.
That's why, yeah.
Hey, real quick, guys, I don't mean to interrupt. Guys, in 1 minute, UNX is going to switch over audio to their next programming. We are nowhere near done yet.
Not even close.
No.
So if you guys want to continue to watch our wonderful friends Ron and Lourdes continue with this podcast, switch over to Stay Haunted Paranormal on YouTube, and we're going to continue to go until the wheels fall off.
I knew you were going to catch that, Chris, but that's why I was trying to gracefully kind of transition into that. I'm not real fast. We're coming up to the end of the hour, so.
No, we're good.
About the critical thinking. So I'm always learning with the analytic idealism that, Ron and Lourdes, that they're ambassadors with, Mr. Castro. And I asked the question, I was watching, because there's a couple people that I follow, and they talk about similar ideas of consciousness and stuff. And you know where I'm going with this, right, Ron? I asked you that question about the one guy is Jeremy Crowder. He's been to where the remote viewing, I forget, it's a place in Washington or something like that. But it was, his perception was, it was information leads to, what the heck was it? It was information about the universe. He was talking about the universe and its information. That information are systems that naturally form into intelligence and then lead into consciousness. And then you would give me, your interpretation.
Right. Right. So he's starting with the thing that is reliant upon the thing upon which he ends. In order to know that there's information, in order to know that something is emergent from information, one has to be conscious. So he's planting dirt, and then he's putting a flower and expecting it to grow instead of planting a seed and expecting it to grow. He's starting with a fully formed idea and going, look what it did.
He's starting off with the description, which is information.
Right.
How did the word information even become, right? we with consciousness,
Which
right,
leads
need a
back to
word to describe what, right. So how is that possible? How can information be out there when we are the one that made we made that word exist?
Right. Information's the way we describe.
Right.
And then it's not just one kind of information too.
Right.
There's symbolic information and
Which
there's semantic information. These are two different things. It's not just one type. That's another misconception. Right. And I always do the example from Federico Fagin, who was the inventor of the microchip. He would say if somebody sees this and they don't even know what it is, they get nothing from it. If somebody sees this, but they know what the gesture means, but they don't know why you're doing it, then they get symbolic information. Something good happened, but that's it. But if they see this and then they know I'm doing this because I got really good news about somebody's health that I was worried about, then they get semantic information, which is the feeling from it and the symbolic information. So there's degrees. It's not just information.
Right.
And it's not the same thing as information flow. I'm trying to remember the name now. It'll come to me too. Like it gets confused a lot. So he's starting with something that's only possible to know if the thing he's ending with comes first.
Right, because all of that Ron just described again are all descriptions of how different, things happen, which is behavior. And we describe, you see, and now it comes from conscious. It just is circular thinking.
And that's why I sent that message to you guys, because when I had seen it, I knew it was kind of similar top information that I already heard, kind of the circles that analytic idealism mentions and talks about. But I knew when I was curious just to get your take on how they're saying it's information, then at least, the system and all that. And then consciousness was third. But how you guys explain it, really, consciousness comes first, and then that information can come from consciousness.
Yeah.
In order to look at consciousness in a subject-object relational scenario, you have to be able to step outside of it.
Because then you're stuck in a loop.
You can't.
You're stuck in a loop too, if you think about it. All right. So information is out there. But who came up with that information? And then is there another being out there? And then who came up with that information? It's like you get stuck in that internal loop. It never ends.
Interpretation.
Is that what it's called? Information interpretation?
I don't know if that's what it's called. That's just what I said.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, everybody receives it a different way. It's the interpretation of the information, like Ron said, it's symbolic, right? It's the reception of the information. Who receives it? How do they interpret it?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, for instance, that's where pareidolia comes from, right? It's the interpretation of the person of the mind seeing it. But when everybody sees and hears the same thing, how is the information an interpretation? Then it's not a perception. It's not an interpretation. It's the information being fed to you as it's read, right?
Well, I would say, let me see if I would say we interpret it, and how we interpret it is how we perceive it. So that's how you get sometimes that there's maybe 2 people and there's 10 people in the room and only 2 people see something. With our system, that's why it's kind of white noise, right? No data. So when a lot of people hear this, it's the same thing. We interpret what we hear and we perceive it with our ears, and we're all hearing the same thing because it's words that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We don't have real-time communication every single time, because if we did, then maybe there's something wrong. Maybe there's something shady going on, but there isn't. So, we all know that the paranormal, what we describe paranormal, doesn't happen like that. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, there's never perception without interpretation. It's part of the same phi complex. You can't have perceptions are creation. It's a modulation of what's out there. So, and again, the main thing that he's doing is he's trying to say that information leads to whatever, and then it leads to this, and then from that emergent consciousness. But you can't know the first 2 steps unless you've already achieved or have consciousness. If you're already conscious. Consciousness has to presuppose those things.
Mm-hmm.
All perception by the correct. Perception is an individual thing.
And I'm going to tie this into TDSE and Lourdes. I've asked this question before to you guys about how is it possible through consciousness that you may hear one thing, but I may hear another thing as individual perception. just like with an EVP, I think we sent you guys that EVP, and it's similar. I know it's not TDSE, but we played EVPs, and some people will hear a certain word or number on the playback, but other people will hear a different one. So maybe that's just how it's perceived to that individual, and maybe it's meant for that way to that individual at that given moment.
So I would say for that, it's the same thing. Like it's probably both things are there, right? But we are part of the equation. So let's say if Ron hears, I don't know, he was there and you hear someone's name, but you can hear each other's thing. It could be in certain points that they're both there, but it's you are part of the equation, and that perhaps that message could be for you, and you're interpreting it and you're perceiving it, and you are listening to that part where Ron is receiving another message and perceiving, So I think that's because we're all part of the equation. And if that happens, it could be something like that going on. Sure. I would say yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think, Ron? What do you think?
No,
isn't that right?
Yeah, I agree. Experience needs an experiencer.
That's
we can look at an art piece of art, and you could think it looks elegant and beautiful, and you could see style in it, and I could look at it and go, it looks like somebody vomited 14 different colors of Skittles. Yeah, it got Skittles in there. You heard me.
Are they top Skittles?
That's right.
Because that's why sometimes we would get into arguments because they would be in the same spot, and he would hear something and I would hear something else, and we would get into art, and I would keep listening, and I would realize, there's two voices there. But for some reason I heard one and he heard the other, but they're both there. So it's something going on like that. Yeah. And perhaps it is because one message is meant for the other, maybe not with us because we do it all the time, but maybe when we take it out. But something like that.
Could you throw Mary Beth's last thing back up too? Because that's another distinction too that we make.
No.
Okay, move on.
I'm just kidding.
Consciousness starts with self-awareness. I think that's Socratic, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So consciousness starts with experience. To be conscious is to experience. To be aware is to be metaconscious, is to know that one experiences. That's a key difference.
I just like the first part she said.
Yeah, had fun in philosophy.
Yeah, that was me in college too.
Yeah,
I love philosophy. Sorry,
that's all right. So, and there's a lot of Aristotelian or Socratic philosophies that idealism doesn't gel with. The dualist aspect of or Cartesian from Descartes. That Cartesian philosophy was criticized for being dualistic. Idealism is a monist view, which is meaning it's singular or one fundamental thing. Once you realize you are it, can progress from there.
You know what she means by that? Like, okay. But I agree with that statement because that's part of, well, maybe we're going way off topic. Now I'm going into philosophy.
It happens all the time.
It's all right.
It happens all the time. So
I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You talk about individual perception and different messages being sent.
Mm-hmm.
Being connected as a universal consciousness, do you ever think that those messages are meant to be received in separate but combined together to create an individual, one solid message?
You okay?
Yeah, I breathed in the wrong hole.
I don't know if that's the way it works, but I know that we have had instances where there's two voices at the same time. So I don't know if that works with the whole thing and the whole thing is like that. But I do know that in instances we argue because if that's the question, there's two voices at the same. So it seems like there's a whole message, but with overlapping voices in the same time period of the recording when we hear it.
But we've experienced that in live sessions with you guys where one person hears one message, one person hears one message, but it's all perception because it's based on which voice you're listening to and which voice you're receiving.
Right. And I was just going to clarify too, was your question what she answered, which was saying that do multiple separate messages come in at the same time, like overlapping, or were you saying that did separate messages come in to make one coherent message of those?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I don't know that we would have a way to know that other than if there were different tonalities that could distinctly make them separate to our ear.
It's hard the way they're received, right?
And even then sometimes it's difficult because the voices are still, whether we like it or not, are being modulated through electronics to become audible, right? So I don't know what it is that sometimes gives one the tonality of female and one the tonality of male. I know that there are biochemical reasons in people, all right? There are physiological reasons why men and women have different hertz levels for their vocal tones, and why typically, men's tones are deeper. So when you're talking without those physical attributes, with a different set of mechanisms, which is making something that, again, like when we talk, starts with cognition, ends with reciting and hearing it, I'm not 100% sure what the mechanisms are behind what makes them have tone, except for perhaps maybe something to do with the intended deliverer.
Well,
it's really guesswork.
Okay, well, this is what I think.
Right?
Say that again?
Or the hertz that it comes in and is received at, right? Because once the physical form is gone, the male to female gender disseminates, right? It's gone.
Well, you made a good point. Like the whole, you said about messages and coming in as a whole. Okay, well, this is what I'm thinking from what you're saying, and maybe I'm like, but I think what happens is with the white noise, and let's think of that as a whole. In there, what Ron does with his system is the intermodulation, which then it makes that resonance for us to create. So it does come in as a whole, but I don't think I don't know if I'm explaining. So let's say it is a whole bunch of voices. It's the only thing I can explain it. There's a whole bunch of voices in that white noise. Even though there's no data in white noise, it seems like when Ron first, that's what it sounded like to me. And maybe because I'm hearing something else, but it's white noise. But I heard, so let's say there's a whole bunch of voices coming in. Then through Ron's system, he was able to make one of those voices resonate. And I think that's what's happening. So there's something going on as a whole, and through his system, he's able to make some of them more detectable. Am I answering your question, or am I
right? And that's
yes and no, but it's kind of the premise of the whole conversation. It's hard to answer the questions that we don't know the true answers to, right?
But sometimes it seems like, because there's two voices at the same time overlapping. So I don't know.
The only thing I can think of too that maybe would distinguish between what would sound like different gendered voices to us is that, for the most part, and maybe this is where some people who don't feel comfortable with their birth sex and want to change it, perhaps how they feel as who they identify as, what they feel as them, is more masculine or feminine in nature. And so maybe that has something to do with influencing cognitively how it comes across. Because if I want to imagine in my head getting a motherly message from my mom, who has now since passed, right, in 2019, if I wanted to hear her say something in my head, I could kind of hear her voice telling me something in my head, and it doesn't sound like, I don't know, Race Hobbs.
Well, yeah.
And thank goodness, because that would scare the caca out of me. Hope he's listening.
So we're right back to perception again.
Right. It would be perception with that one. Yeah. Because if they're thinking that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I do hear like what people say, oh, that sounded, and I know what that voice sounds like, and it doesn't sound like that.
Right.
Like maybe, okay, the voices to me that we hear that we think sounds like that is messages from Ron's mom. To me, it doesn't sound like Ron's mom.
Right.
Yeah.
But I still think that's Ron's mom. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the information is timing and relevant, you see? So I don't know how much of that is true. Yeah.
I don't find a lot of the voices recognizable to voices that I know or knew, even if it's a name that says it's somebody that I knew. Right, that's correct. Raul's got those are the hertz levels that the voices operate at. That's correct.
But I think the need
That's a physical level, correct?
Hmm?
That's a physical level, correct?
Well,
What happens when you take the physical portion out of it, those words can change.
right. That's my point. Exactly. Is that I think it's more sensible to think that the voices are not going to sound exactly like who it is we think we're talking to, because of the mechanism by which they're being made is not the same.
Right.
It's just, I think it's since we're part of the equation, and depending on the person and their need to hear that voice, when they get that timing and relevance response, to them, it sounds like that person. And that's okay, because it probably does.
Yeah.
Because they're part of the equation, and that's fine.
Yeah, the perception has everything to do with it. Remember
Yeah.
that recording thing for a while, that Laurel and Yanni? And some people heard Laurel and some people heard Yanni. And the whole gist was, see, hearing is fallible, because some people are hearing different stuff. But what nobody knew really, for the most part, or talked about, was they made you think, and most people thought, and if you still think that, it's totally understandable, because nobody really put this out there, that there was one thing on the recording that people were hearing as either Laurel or Yanni. But in fact, both names were on the recording. One of them, I think Laurel, was recorded first onto a recording. And then that recording was played through open air and onto a microphone to a second recording device that was played and recorded. And then Yanni was introduced into it while the Laurel recording played, which may give it an extra layer of resonance now, because it might have environmental white noise to amplify it. So if you were more familiar with somebody named Laura or Lauren or Laurel, then you would maybe be a little bit more likely to hear that, based on frequency hearing range, right? Where males over 50 have higher frequency drop off, things like that. They could also influence it. But the idea that was put out there was, see, our hearing can't be trusted because there's one word there and we're hearing two different things. No,
Right.
both words were there. It was what you were basically more equipped or likely to be attuned to of the two, but they were both there.
So they omit relevant information, and then they make an assessment on it and say that you see how that works. They don't give you everything. Mhm.
We have two more examples of
I was going to
TDSE.
say, Chris, you're reading my mind. Consciousness, because I was just getting ready to say.
See, we're connected, not just by beards or gray hair. Do you want to play one more of your examples?
Or no hair.
Oh, wow, look at that. He's smooth.
He's smooth.
A baby's butt.
I'm not doing that.
It's
though.
like looking at growth development, like first 1 week.
This is
4 weeks.
This is almost like Terminator
Next
stuff here, or whatever.
This is after plug.
He has a hole in his head.
Right?
That's why I
Yeah,
had
the
to,
Terminator head.
like, I'm missing a piece of my skull.
You want to play still all the other two, or you want to just play that one?
We can play both.
Play both of
All
them.
right, so then play the other one. The other one, I think, is the My Haunted Manor one, right?
Yeah.
From
That's
Columbia,
that one.
Pennsylvania. So that one, the short version set up. They were told at the time, this is the end of 2024, that the mediums told them that there were two bodies buried in the dirt basement. So we asked questions about it. Lourdes asked a question. I asked a question. What you'll see in this, what I think is interesting, is not just dialogue in real time out of silence with the white noise being unheard, but also comprehension. Because I asked the second question with two options, and it answered giving one of those options, but a different word for it. It didn't use the same word I used. Like it's if I asked for a truck, and it said automobile instead of car, right? It would be a coherent answer, times relevant, but not the same word, something like that. So
All right, here we go.
If they started digging, what would they find?
Person.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, ask the person.
is it a male or a female person? Male or female? Woman.
Oh, woman.
Woman.
Okay.
A woman.
Very
A
cool.
woman.
Male or female? Woman. Specific.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought that was interesting, because the question was answered with one of the two options, just used a different word.
And that's the thing, right? You think about that. So something, right? It interpreted first and then responded. It's just so that's just interesting, right? How does that happen, right? I mean, we have a theory, but
Wait,
it's a theory.
Did you hear it?
Are you sure?
Are you sure you heard it?
Yeah. Did
Now, the
you?
funny part, so the end part, and when Ron had originally sent this when it first aired or whatever, and then I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? Because you hear woman, but then you hear woman, and I'm like, holy shit, what the hell is?
Yeah.
And it was, I think, Trey or Jeff
Somebody
or
was
Daryl or whatever
repeating
you were
it.
saying that was
It
repeating
was, I
I
think,
was like,
Jeff.
holy shit.
It was Jeff, I
it
think,
was
who
Jeff
said it
Bader.
because then
I'm glad you pointed it out, Todd,
Daryl-
because I was about to say it was the perverted spirit going, woman.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Yeah.
The reactions, but you know what? Even the people in the back, because you hear there were people in the back watching, and you can hear them too going because it was kind of like, what? We were all like, we couldn't even believe it. Yeah, it was crazy, and it was so quiet. That was a good instance that there was no other noise but the voices. So that was kind of interesting.
It runs like that
Or
often.
that voice.
Sometimes, not always, but
Yeah.
most of the time it runs like that, which is great when I love when it goes dead silent.
Okay, let me put it this way. It was only one single voice. Usually we have 2 or 3, which makes it difficult to understand. But you can hear stuff, but that was just super clear because it was one voice.
Yeah, there was a moderator for the other side that night.
Yeah.
Can't
Sounds like it.
Up for the job.
So, not trying to rush, but I want to make sure that we play this third clip that you sent in, because the first one showed the modulation and showed you doing the testing and you get the big long sentence. The second one showed other investigators in the group. This third clip, there are people that are not paranormal investigators in this clip.
Right. Yeah. It's a compilation. It's like a 25-minute episode. This is the News 12, tri-state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. They did a whole Halloween month every Wednesday, and they featured, like Todd said before, 9 Lives Paranormal, Full Moon Paranormal, Rich Michelle, a medium from Connecticut. Well, on the third episode, we're not sure. We don't really know her. And then us on the 4th episode. So every Wednesday, and they sent us out to a bakery out in Long Island that apparently has some deep history to the land and a lot of stuff happening at this place. This is the same show where they had the 3 blind mice skeptics at the end giving a summary. So I didn't add that part in because I don't want to give them any more airtime than they already got, which is way too much.
Right.
And I condensed it down. I just kind of like put together a little compilation of it. So it's maybe 5-6 minutes instead of the full episode. But just to show some of the interactions.
And the interesting part is that they went in cold, and I think it's because of those skeptics. They didn't tell us, and I don't know if they did it with all of them, but they left them any information that was relevant to the place. They did not tell us.
Right.
So that's important to know because,
right.
Well, you see what we get.
The skeptic, and it took away from those skeptic people the idea of us being primed to hear something.
That's why they didn't even have anything.
But as you know, based on how the system works, there's no way for us to put those names or words into the system.
Yeah. So it doesn't even matter.
We can't make it say.
This clip is a cold run.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were set up in front of news cameras for a special Halloween special for how many, I don't know how many million homes will see this across the tri-state area in the Northeast here. So that was one of those times you go, I hope it works.
And it did.
I was just going to say, that kind of made you guys really, you could have got.
We had no clue, and the names we were looking for came out, bro. It was crazy, man.
It came out.
That's why you hear at the end. She said, but I heard it. Like, and he's saying, did you? Like, and she kind of, it's kind of.
One of the names that came through.
She knows what she experienced.
One of the names came through, and we all heard it. And she goes, but we all heard it. I heard it. When he said, did you? And then one guy said, well, did you hear it? Did you only hear it because he said it or because he said it?
We all heard it.
Everybody heard it, for one. And for two, this power of suggestion thing gets way too much airplay. You can't, if I think I hear the name Chris and what comes through has the cadence of ba-ba-da-ba, that doesn't sound like Chris.
And
it has to match the cadence and tonality of the name or the word close enough for you to go, that's what it sounds like. That's how we communicate. We're making sounds. A, B, C, D, and C, E, F, F, and those sounds and combined sounds are not something that's fundamental to reality that just is wired into us. Those are part of language. Those are archetypal things in how we communicate. So when we identify them, it's not it's miraculous. Why? Because you don't expect it to be there, because your dogmatic belief says that it shouldn't be coming through there.
I don't know. What did you send them? Because a good example.
I told you it was a compilation that I made.
Oh my God, I know that part.
He led into it pretty good.
A good example what he's talking about. Okay, you guys know I'm a co-reporter. Listen, blah blah blah. When Eddie first comes out, I don't hear it. I say, you heard it, but most of them heard it, and then later on it comes out again, and then I hear it. So you see how that goes. So you don't have to hear. Most of the people heard it, and you know what? The first time I didn't hear it. That's why I say, you heard it. That's why I asked. I don't know exactly what you sent them.
Yeah, of course that's in there.
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. I don't know if he sent you that, but if you watch the episode, you hear me the first time it says the name. I say, you heard it, and then when most of them heard it. In that particular instance, I did not, because I'm not perfect, right? So I'm, so
What?
Yeah, tools are not, they're valuable.
And see, and that's another example of that when it's something that we get through sensory input, that it has to be an objective consensus truth, objectively for all, or it's not valid. Right? Like if you hear something and nobody else heard it, something's wrong with you. But if two of you heard it, then it's a mass delusion, or you're both something wrong with two of you. But we don't do that for everything that happens. Again, whether or not something seems extraordinary or implausible is based on what the ideology, what the belief system is that you're holding, and some people unknowingly so. And if it doesn't fit within that, oh my goodness, you can't, that's not possible. How do you explain that? Well, it's possible. And that's how I explain it.
So let's go ahead and play it. It's 6 minutes and 24 seconds. Yeah, 6 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah.
The biggest note, go back to what Ron said. They went into this cold. Yeah. He turned it on, and these are the responses they got. And that's, guys, anybody that's ever been a paranormal investigator or anybody that's ever been involved with Ron and Lourdes with TDSE knows that sometimes coming in cold can really kick you in the butt. But this is live on the news, coming in cold, and this is what happened.
That's crazy.
Here we go.
The Digital Séance Experience scans white noise, a combination of signals similar to the hiss of an untuned radio or television. His software filters through these frequencies and picks up any voices, allowing them to communicate with the spirit world in real time.
There's no word banks, there's no sound banks, there's no signal radio or otherwise. It's just the white noise. We're making more of what comes through audible.
Ron and Lourdes, they're coming into this cold. They don't know about the history. They haven't heard, these stories. And they're setting up in one of the most active places in this bakery, the kitchen. Our Haunted Tri-State production team is here. The cameras are up, and they're ready to record every moment. So let's start the night. One of the first things we hear is...
In the basement?
Is there a basement here?
No.
Okay, that got weird quickly, and then just 5 minutes after we started, we hear two names. How many people are here tonight?
Virginia.
I heard Eddie.
Eddie.
You heard it?
Eddie, what's up?
Wait, let's play that back. Okay, is this the Eddie that we've been hearing a lot about? Is he trying to communicate to us and letting us know that he's here tonight?
Eddie, were you here when this was not a bakery?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like Eddie is coming through, but there was another name mentioned.
Virginia.
So that's interesting to us. One of the first names that we heard on Ron's software was Virginia. Gerard has never heard that name mentioned before, but could that have something to do with one of our producers named Virginia?
Virginia.
I definitely heard my name. And I kind of pointed to myself, wondering, did anybody else hear it? And then we played it back, and then we all heard it. And that was so disturbing.
Could there be a spirit looking to connect with Virginia? But a name that they have heard before comes up right away, and that's Eddie. He seems to be dominating the paranormal's conversation.
Eddie.
I heard Eddie.
Eddie.
You heard it?
Eddie, what's up?
Being a trickster.
Eddie, you're the guy who plays pranks around here, right?
That's me.
That's right.
Eddie, we don't know who you are. We're new here. Why are you here, Eddie?
As you can see, there has been contact made with Eddie, who Gerard believes was killed when he was a teenager near the bakery. We are also hearing other voices, including a female. Could that be Gracie or Charlotte, the girls from the Civil War era?
Can you guys let Gracie say hello, please? Yes. Yes. Thank you. Where is she? Can she say hello?
That sounded like a female.
Excuse me, I heard.
While that is happening, Gerard shows us a photo on his phone that was captured in the alley attached to the bakery. He believes the shadowy figures look like two little girls. And then before we know it, we get confirmation.
Can Grace say her name? Please let Gracie say her name.
Gracie!
There it is.
Hey!
Thank you. Thank you.
Never gets old, man. Never gets old.
Within a few minutes, we're hearing names. We hear Virginia, Eddie, Gracie, and then we hear the word basement. Gerard tells us, though, they don't have a basement in this bakery. There is one next door at the restaurant there.
What was this before it was a bakery?
So that's the second time I heard behavior.
Heard basement.
Oh, there again. Basement.
Is there a room under the building we don't know about?
Yeah, no, there is a basement under the restaurant.
There is?
There is.
Oh.
Or maybe it's a hollow floor.
We're trying to find out if something happened in the basement. Could this be Eddie's way of revealing where he was killed? But then what we hear next is chilling.
Eddie, is there anybody else here with you tonight?
Sure. I heard sure and you're crazy.
Crazy, I heard that.
Well, we may be. Who else is with you?
Who else is with you? They bury children, I heard.
That's what I heard.
Something about danger. Who buried the children?
Let something speak. Did you hear that? It was a female voice.
I got such a chill. I think they're on top of me.
They bury children. This is getting really intense.
So we're now in the alleyway, and this is where they've gotten a lot of, activity and people feel things. So now we're gonna listen.
Somebody say Eddie loudly if you can hear us. Immediately.
Eddie, is this where you died?
Eddie, did you die in this hallway?
Why are you guys here? Is it the bakery or something else? Oh,
Bakery.
Yeah, bakery right away. You just enjoy the bakery and the people who work here? What is it that you want to give us as a message that we can take with us? It would be a lot easier for us, Eddie, if you can give us your last name. I heard, ma'am, they hear me.
Yeah, I heard the name.
We hear you.
Do you want to tell us good night? Do you want to tell us good night? Thanks for letting us be here.
Heard thanks. Oh, I heard thanks. Get out.
So we're wrapping up.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, we're done.
I laugh because I'm laughing and she's like, it's just funny.
Yeah, shitting.
Man,
They were
that-
great.
Yeah.
The crew was really nice.
It was
the
fun.
host, Christy, was really nice. They did a great job on it. We were poking a lot of fun at the skeptics part at the end. The only reason that we were all kind of a little bit miffed about that was because they didn't tell us that was going to happen. And it didn't affect Lourdes and I think maybe not as much because we always take the extra step to discredit the things that are meant to discredit us. So we're always like speaking for that, but everybody else just went into their investigations not knowing that they had to rule out all these things because there were going to be these, skeptics from Wish poking holes at stuff. So it would have been nice if they had told us, but they did treat us well, and they did a great job on the production for the news show for sure.
And that had everything. Everything we've talked about, the timing, the relevance. You guys went in cold, like we've talked about. You guys mentioned and stuff. So I mean,
and the producer Virginia. Oh my God, that was so funny.
she was like beside herself.
Yeah. That was cool.
And then a couple other things happened like that too. When I asked for Gracie, I got Grace right away. And then when I asked for Eddie the second time in the hallway, and all we did was we took the Bluetooth speaker on the stand and moved it down the bakery and pointed it into the hallway so we could still run the system where it was and hear it in the back. It didn't air live like when they were filming it. I wanted to make that distinction.
Yes. Sorry.
Did you get free pay? Yes, we did, Roll.
Thank you for making that distinction because I wanted to say that. Yeah.
So it was recorded. It was recorded live, and then they put the episodes together and then aired them a couple months later. But the onus of performance was still on us. Like if nothing came out and the system just tanked, that would have been preserved until October.
Right.
The thing is that they bury children. I hear they bury children again now, but they bury children, and that is kind of creepy. And the aunt, like it was so good because it was Halloween time. It's I don't know, the universe is like working with us because. Listen, I'm not saying I don't know if that statement is true or not, right? We would have to do the research. Right. If they want to know, do the research and see if maybe there was a cemetery. Maybe there was a children's cemetery or something. So I don't know if that statement is true or false. All I know is that it came out.
It helps promote the bakery.
Yeah, maybe it's just spirit helping spirit, right? Because we're spirit and somebody, I don't know what it is, but those words came out. That's all I know.
The going in cold part was cool because of the big name they were hoping for was Eddie.
Yeah.
And we didn't know it.
Oh. Okay.
And when it came out right away, and that was one of their known spirits, right? So they heard Virginia, Eddie.
Yeah.
And then we asked for Eddie and it comes out again.
Gracie, which is another.
Right. And the girls too, right? The little girls, Gracie, same thing.
I find the response of Virginia, the producer, interesting because we've had experiences when we've come to TDSE and we've seen it progress over the years, and we've had personal experiences, and it's like, we're like, do you think it is? And it's like, we're not like freaked out by it. It's comforting. It was interesting to kind of see her and I don't know if that was because it was on TV, but she was like, crap.
It was genuine. When I tell you it's genuine, because I'll go ahead, Chris.
You got to remember too that paranormal investigators were used to shit like this.
Right.
But you get a producer that's not used to hearing her name. She's doing that Hollywood shit her pants where she's going, oh my God, they said my name. This is fucked up. Well, no, it's not evil. Just somebody reaching out. They know you're there.
And it's also where you're coming from, the perception, right? So exactly what he's saying. So for you, like I remember my first time, and it wasn't through our system that I heard my name. And the excitement that I heard my name was, I still remember it. The other way around, if she had experienced it that way, she still would have said the same thing. That's disturbing. Because the first time you hear your name, it's a big emotion. How you take it is how you take it. You either take it that way or the other way, right?
Well, it's the same concept as the first time you're on an investigation. You see something or you get touched.
Right.
People are used to it. Be prepared to shit your pants, right? It's like they said your name, they touched you, you saw something. Oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah.
She'd never experienced that, so it's perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Chris nailed it in the beginning when he said the people who were there before we played the clip were not paranormal investigators. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why she was so taken by that, because it's not something she's experienced, and she probably didn't expect, of all things, even with voices, being alleged to be brought forth, to hear her name.
Right. Well, it's the same reaction as the lady at the end when she heard the "get out." She shit herself.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm out. But how many times have we heard "get out"? Right.
Right, and I laughed. And I laughed. Right. Yeah, that's true. Right.
I still shit my pants when I hear my name.
You'll stop.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. You'll stop.
It's in my hallway, and Todd's telling, "Hey, come here."
Yeah. Come on. I hear someone saying your name.
Well, I should say maybe not, because Chris, I have to say, I'm gonna take that back, Carmela, because Chris DeCesare is kind of like that. He gets freaked out. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna take that back. But the difference is that you are an investigator, he's not.
Right.
So think about that.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. You're right back to perception, right? Where we go out looking for it, we get excited when we hear it. Chris went through an experience he wasn't prepared for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not like he went out and investigated for it. I watched the series. I have to watch it with Audra so she can see it, because his experience was, I mean, if that's not even the whole experience, that's a pretty intense thing to have happen to you when you've never even had an experience, period. To have something that intense would definitely change your mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what freaks you out more is that it seems like you may not have quite control of it, and that's more your fear. That's what I think. And so when it happens, that's what I think more. And you're gonna watch. You'll find your way. Watch.
And the difference is, as investigators, if we experience something that scares the living shit out of us, we have the word. There's the word for the one episode. We have the decision we can make where we can leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris did not.
That's true too. Very true.
Well, yeah, that option was put forth a little bit, but based on circumstances, and he was hoping to be an Olympic runner, and it was a hard school to get into and stuff. So running wasn't an option, and they had reason to believe at some point after this stuff started that running wasn't going to matter, because it started affecting other people in the dorm. And that was the two things he said, that what they did with the Netflix series was twofold. They condensed the timeline because they couldn't shoot and show spring, fall, winter, right? So they condensed the timeline down, and they also broadened the locations. They said we can't do, an hour or so worth of an episodic documentary that takes place in one room.
Yeah, so I think with that, it's true. The reason why he couldn't run, because he felt like he couldn't run. He felt because of the scholarships and his father, the fear of his father not being proud of him, those types of things. But he feels that it probably wouldn't have made a difference because it already found him. A door was open, like Lorraine said. So even if he ran and went home and swallowed the bride of his father, he still may have had those problems. Right. Perhaps. Maybe. Who knows, right? But, that's what that is.
And the ending part, I won't give away because I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it. But the ending part, there's even more correlations and stuff that tie this to him directly, which explaining why it happened to him. And I will tell you this without too much detail, and I give it away. After this had aired, 2 people have come forward that he talked to now since. One of them's I think they're both from out of state, or at least one of them was. And one of them had a haunting experience from a different type of a thing, I think, that happened prior to his. So there's something that leads up to it, but separate. And then there was somebody else who had details to how this ties to him, even beyond what he knew. But they came forward with it once this aired. So he even learned more about the story than he experienced after Netflix aired the series.
Wow.
So look out for the 50th, y'all. Cool. But he's had more information,
Okay, we've gone 45 minutes over. Well worth it. Well worth it. We would spend all night with those 2 sitting right there, because I told you at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to tell you again, these are not just friends, these are family. But
we love you guys. Mwah, mwah. We love you.
Everybody, where they can find you with DeCesare, what you guys got coming up. You guys, I'm sure it'll take the next 15, 20 minutes because you guys are nonstop.
Well, we're starting to get to Stop Town. I'm going to switch to the calendar just so we can look at it. This is where we start slowing down a little bit. We're doing Third Eye Live with Sir Brian Bowden's podcast Wednesday night. The weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we have the New Jersey Para-Unity Expo, which we look forward to very much because that is where we've had some of the most personal, profound experiences happen to the people who come into our room. So that we're super excited about. And then Lourdes is going to Florida to see her granddaughter for
am.
Thanksgiving. So I'll be doing a Casper meetup with William Helms on the 17th, Monday by myself. Full Moon's got an event on the 21st. Parasite doing something at the Ritz, one of their Neurovisor events on the 22nd. And then there's a Keystone, the Keystone place right near My Haunted Manor on the 29th. I think that's the next thing we'll be be doing, right? And now we're doing Paranormal Lens with Chad and Jamie, I think, on
December 2nd.
December 2nd.
Cool.
And then we quiet down into December because we already got stuff that is starting to go on the books for S.K. Pierce in Massachusetts
Paracon.
in January. Hanover Paracon in January. There's already 2 there. So
Is everybody listening? Ron said this is where we slow down.
Yeah,
well, December.
December.
I glanced over December. We don't really have much of anything in December.
Two days.
And dude, I have to force him. I said, listen, after Thanksgiving, I mean, before Thanksgiving, I don't want to do anything when it gets near Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, no more. Like at least until December and then January start. I have to kind of force it because if not, there's no.
35 days a year is enough.
Yeah, right.
So, you need a break for something, right? You can't be doing everything 24/7. You need a break from it. So usually those times, that's our break. And then we start again in January.
And then we'll post it. There'll be online events because Netflix is in over 400 countries. So there's going to be a per ticket price to attend online events for the meet and greet with Krista Cesare, where we'll be talking with him again about the metaphysics behind the types of hauntings and how those things can happen, specific to what happened to him and his friends. So those will be online events we'll do.
He has those guys. They're all amazing. It's not it's Krista Cesare yet, but Jeff, Linda, Craig, and then Bill, who does I can't even talk because I feel like that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have to learn how to treat each other better, pretty much. But yeah,
yeah. And then our website, which I relaunched a different version of it. We have some exciting things about how we're approaching the live events now. We had some talks with Krista Cesare and his representative, Mr. Bill Edwards. So we kind of are revamping something a little bit to make this like a huge experience thing when we do it. So the digital seance will be bigger and better and much different soon.
So we're making a lot of changes. Yeah.
Right. So the website's gonyacparanormal.com, GONYAC. And at the top of it, there's a link. I have a course that I put out on metaphysics and paranormality, explaining a lot of the phenomena from the metaphysical philosophy of analytic idealism. And again, the link's on the top of our page for that. And last, and certainly not least, a huge thank you to you guys for including us in your show. We watch every week, if at all possible, and you have tremendous guests on all the time. So for us, I know we're friends, I know we're family, but we're also honored because you have great people on this show. And so to be included amongst those people is meaningful to us.
Yes. We love you guys.
We love you guys.
We love you guys.
Before Chris, you sign off. So 2 things. You were talking about the next weekend's NJ Para Unity. We were trying to get a certain 2 other people on the screen, but it's not going to happen. I'm just throwing it out there. We were trying to make it happen when we were out there, but work gets in the way.
No guilt trip intended, right?
No, we know. We love you guys. We know you would come if you could. And then from a personal perspective, for me, and I can probably speak for Carmela too, watching, we're appreciative of the 6 of us and the friendships that we've developed, being able to meet Ron and Lourdes and becoming, kind of fascinated with the whole ITC and direct radio voice. And if you look at the promo that I put out, it was kind of my little homage to that New Egypt was the beginning when we first experienced digital seance, to where Thursday was where it came to now is metaphysics. That was my kind of like a little homage to you guys, and our homage to you guys, because we've seen it transform. And it's a beautiful thing. And we would have never met if it wasn't for you guys and just the connections and karma and everything that's happened. We met you guys and we met Chris and Audra, and we've become really good friends. And we can't say thank you enough you guys, because we consider you guys family, and we really love you guys. And
Yeah, what he said.
We thank you. We thank you for that, because honestly, for us, it's the same thing, because the friendship was born. It started there, right? It started there. So that was nice. It's really like, yeah.
That's weird. I had a flashback of knew each other.
Dangers in the room,
Yeah,
right?
dangers in the room.
Dangers in the room. And that was my first, like, holy shit.
And then think about it. And then with these two, we met through like podcasts, really, right? And then now through that, now you guys are doing podcasts, and it's awesome. Like, that's awesome. So yeah, we appreciated I was like, oh, that's awesome. So thank you, Todd and Carmela.
Yep.
And
He's so sentimental. I'm just here for the ride.
No, she's sentimental.
I have no feelings.
Well, you two know how we feel.
I get it scared out of me.
Ron and Lourdes, you two know how we feel about you, and it led to us. I mean, Stay Haunted means more than just the show that we have today. So you guys know where that goes. So.
Well, it's good. It's good to see you putting out the message, putting out the right type of people on the show.
You guys have fun.
And you guys
on the
paired up together is awesome.
Yeah,
it was awesome to see too. We love you all. We appreciate you all.
Love you too.
Okay.
All right, guys. So if you want to go out and you want to experience voices in real time coming to you with intelligence and relevance, you have to go out and you have to see the Digital Séance Experience. But most of all, in that experience, you get to meet two of the most fantastic people that we have ever met in our life. And they are also the true developers of what you're going to experience with TDSE. Everything else is false. So with that being said, go out, listen to the voices, listen beyond the voices, and make sure you stay haunted. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Night.
Good night. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.